my name is Allison Price, and this is the Learning Teaching Interaction 3. So first to start Chapter 3, Principles of Program Evaluation, I thought it was really cool how it laid out how it went. So visions, then goals, then objectives, but then there's also instructional activities and evaluation measures. This chapter was really helpful to me to just see how it's all laid out and how it actually happens. So first of all is establishing the target with the visions and then the goals, and then developing a vision. This is really neat for me because my husband is just starting a new company, and so I was thinking about the different visions that they had to come up with and goals and objectives to reach their goals. Is this multi-million-dollar company is starting, and well, it was an old company, but they're making a lot of changes and making it a different company. So that was really fun to think of that in this setting as well. And then I like that it talked about other ways to evaluate a program as well. You can do an interviewer, so an interviewer comes in and meets with the different people, or you can have mapping, or you can have a pre-test and a post-test. In one of our studies for our workshop that we're doing, it was really interesting. They did a pre-test and a post-test, and it was amazing the difference you could see and how far the people had come. In the FLE, the Appendix E, first of all, I thought it was interesting that they went over the why the code of ethics is needed, and it helps guide the family life educators' actions and to positively help families. If they don't have standards to follow, they can potentially do a lot of harm. I was thinking about the church here, how it has guidelines and standards to follow, and it just helps each of us guide us, and it makes it easier, I think, to be able to live life with standards and guidelines to follow. Then you kind of know what to follow. Anyways, there's a different, the MCFR talked about relational ethics and principal approaches and virtual ethics. And the relational ethics is what principles shall guide my interaction with clientele and other family life educators. Principal approach is how shall I deal with ethical dilemmas that arise in my practice of FLE. And then the other one's virtual ethics. What characteristics are important for me to embody as a family life educator? It kind of gave 3 virtues to follow along as well. There's caring, prudence / practical wisdom, and hope / optimism. I thought those were really cool virtues to be able to guide you as well. And the next one was the professional ethics and practice. I really liked that it went over expectations for the family life educator. So one of them was develop the critical skills for ethical thinking and practice. So expectations for me would be to develop critical skills that I will be using in the field to help people as well. Ethical thinking. There's importance of ethical thinking. So the importance of ethical thinking in the practice is first, you have to realize that there's growth and maturity in the field. You have to realize that your clients are old enough to make their own decisions, and that they're old enough that they will cause harm. 2 is you'll be working with more diverse families, and you'll encounter families that come in conflict with your own personal beliefs, and that's why we have those ethical guidelines to kind of guide us so we don't get personally our own feelings wrapped up in it. It's very professional. And then as a professional, we are held more accountable, And number 3, we increase the number of programs as well. Increase in the number of programs. The Minnesota Council of Family Relations, again that's the MCFR, Ethical Thinking and Practice, went over the decision-making process. So first is identification of relationships, then it's application of principles, and then identification of contradictions and tensions, identification of possible solutions, and selection of actions. Next, there's weaknesses and strengths of the Code of Ethics. And I've never really thought about this, that the Code of Ethics has weaknesses, but there definitely are. Some of the principles conflict with each other, and as I thought about this, I thought more of it, and they definitely do in some places, but again, it's guidelines. And then it's not grounded in theories, so they're just a code and rather than based on theories. And then the strengths is it carefully describes expectations of the family life educators. So we have expectations that we are held to in this. These are them. The framework that the MCRFR also talked about is first principles approach to ethics, then relational ethics, and virtue ethics. Future challenges that some FLEs will face are establishing clear boundaries of practice and ethical responsibility. And then another one that I thought was interesting was getting administrators to provide time, resources, and leadership to promote the ethical thinking and practices as an expected part of the program. So getting administrators it costs money and there's time and people that need to go into doing that, and so getting that approved and getting other people on board with that. And then the article, Boundaries Between Parents and Family Education Life Therapy. Educational is not, it's supposed to be family FLE is educational, not clinical. So having the patient go into too much depth can actually be damaging. It can be emotionally overwhelming for them. And as an educator, sometimes they are not trained to help them, so that can be damaging as well if they're not equipped to deal with that. And then in a group setting, it makes others uncomfortable as well, and I think that would be awful, just because as a family life educator, if you let something get out of hand and then other people around you don't want to come back because you didn't do your job. And the last one is reconceptualizing the domain and boundaries of family life education. And this just talked about the difference between FLE, family therapist, and family case management, that they are all similar but very unique, and one is not more advanced than the other. They all focus on the family well-being, but that was really interesting to see the differences in them. So, thanks.